Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Oh my gosh, guys. So Donald Trump said overnight, or at least the headline that I read in the shower, is that he is willing to put tariffs on all 505 billion of Chinese goods imported to the United States. Yes, that's, and I see that is the that is the lead story on CNBC. See here, their U.S. storyline is Dow falls more than 100 points after banks slide. Trump knocks Fed. Yes, he also said something about the Fed yesterday, which is probably what caused this noise right here. Somewhere around there. Anyways, the markets did react to it. Or I'm sure, I wasn't watching, so I don't know what time period it was, but I'm sure that they reacted to that. But the thing I find interesting is that, okay, we appear to have found some balance here around 095. We are not to the top. The top is still, what, 14.5? Yes. 120.14. So we've not reached the top. Liquidity is actually fairly thick. It is a Friday. I would be on our toes because I think that what we could have happen is the Chinese come in. I think that the Chinese could come in and try to influence markets again, as they have done in the past. So yeah. Well, let's get the links. Let's do that. Oh, come on. That. And we'll join chit chat. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
So I'm a little confused because all of the stuff I was reading as I was getting ready was, oh, we're going to impose 500 billion more in tariffs, but it doesn't look like the market has really reacted all that much to it. Well, I mean, we're right next to that 070, which has been a pretty standard price for the past 3 weeks, hasn't it?
I think it was gonna break a few minutes ago, and then but it's also, like you said, it's the bottom of the range. It's also at 07.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen around this price, or nothing, but most likely some fighting. Hope.
There is a pretty big order below us at 03, isn't there?
There is 30 years also at its kind of in its range, lower end of its kind of at a range between 05 and 03. Kind of like in that range now.
Okay, so there's the open, they bought it. Oh. Stop it. I need to change it back to this. Boom. I think if anything is going to happen off of this news, it's probably going to be up. So that's my thinking right now, at least. And we are fairly good risk reward for it as well. Put this right here. The 070. I don't want to risk more than that, so I'm not going to step up to 05 to 085. Really wanted to be a long 08 there, but maybe they come back for me. I don't think I can take on as much risk as there is in 9.
Did you already get a fill?
No, I put it in there and I'm 486 in the queue.
Oh.
So I missed it. Trump flags and hats made in China are reportedly being held up at the customs as trade war heats up. I don't know, guys. This might be a huge move up, and I think we missed the train. Not letting up either. He'd still be in. Looking for a fill at 10 maybe. I swear they're always gonna make it hard for you, huh? Maybe we get lucky. Hey, I was able to get that crocodile that screwed me over yesterday to work. Not quite the way I wanted it to go, but I did get it. So, because I had such a good queue position at 08, I put a stop limit order in at 085. So when they pulled, well, I don't know if they pulled, but when they went through 085, I automatically sold 085 and then got out at 08. Yep, I scalped the tick just really quick because they had a good queue position. But the thing where I say it didn't work out quite the way that I expected was that my stop order worked, but it was a stop limit, and so it put me in the queue at like 120 at 085. So it didn't actually, and that may have been the sim. I'm going to need to look at it again, but it didn't exactly fill right away. So it actually got filled on the long first. It's funny because I actually thought about putting 2 orders in there at 08, but I was like, I don't know if I want to take that much risk. Like, I don't know how this is going to work out, and blah, 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 blah. And of course, it would have worked out because we're 2 ticks higher already. Bounced off of that really nicely. Might take 1 year to wait. No, they should be showing something a little more fishy here. Okay. Yeah, that move down was definitely weird. And I'm not, I thought that maybe we would see some spoofing here at 075 and everything, but I'm not really seeing that. But on the same token, the things are not very well lined up. Like the 5 years still 2 ticks higher.
The last time we were here, the 30-year was kind of in the middle of its range, grindy range. Right now it's at the bottom, so I'm kind of expecting for a short. Like it's lower than it was before. If that makes sense.
It's the 5 year that's out of whack now.
Don't have that 5-year data though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, so when the bottom is 18 in the 5 year, and they're at 18.5 right now, so they're 2 or 3 ticks higher.
I see what happens. Awesome. To take down and maybe it was too.
So I'm trying to think this through here. If we took it short, your risk would have to be the VWAP at 9, 3 ticks of risk. Next level I see is like 045.
Next level is
What happened to 055?
was the overnight low, like down. Well, 30 years starting to push down, so if this doesn't move, maybe take a 1 tick low.
Well, there was an iceberg at 075. Only 4K though.
Not really. But the books are thin. Books are thin, very thin down here on the buy side. Bids are
Yeah, if they get through that big order, yeah.
just one more tick.
And based on the risk reward, I think it could have taken it at 0.75, but not at 0.7.
Well, looks like a real order. It's just sitting there on 30-year.
I think in this particular instance, I would put a little bit less weight behind the big order simply because it's at evens. You're always going to see a big number at evens. Yeah, so it's not gonna probably not gonna pull, but what could happen is somebody could sweep it. We could still get a huge collision and just go through it.
Or that I wish I would just know if I was right or wrong. Oh well.
Now, you already have a few ticks, right?
No, I sold at 77.5.
Oh, you sold it in the 10. Sorry, I thought you were saying that you sold it in the...
I don't actually trade the one tick $30 carry from.
As long as the pressure is still there, you got the 3,000 behind you, it's okay. This is taking a bit to coax them into selling 7 though. I look at that. I'm not sure what to make of that. I've never seen it do that at a low.
Took a one tick. One.
Looked like a smackdown. Well, I tell you what I thought when it moved down like that. I thought, hey, this is exactly fucking like what happened yesterday, except for the other way now.
Yeah, okay, I'm out. I took my 2 contracts. I took one tick on both.
Oh, that's good.
That iceberg. I mean, if it pops, it's probably gonna go. I think so. I just get back. Just wait and see. I don't really want to risk any.
Yeah, I like it. Seeing the 6K order is something I wouldn't want to stand in front of.
But this is the bottom of our range. So, I mean, the 30-year, it broke down like one tick below their overnight bottom. But I guess that order's holding it up at the bottom of its overnight range.
Well, that's where it's kind of like when you look at the risk reward of it, you're going to have something at 0.7, right? And then there was this kind of balance area between 0.45 and 0.7. Okay, that's going to be some support. And then you got this big order at 0.3. So if you were going to take a short, and you could get 0.45, right? but like your risk on the upside is 0.9. So the risk reward isn't super optimal.
I mean, your risk you can risk less than that. I think. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The way I trade is if it doesn't do what I expect it's going to do within like 10 minutes, I just take it off.
Right. But now on the split side, if it comes up here, you could potentially buy at 0.8 or 0.75, 2 ticks away from where the big iceberg was. Have a decent amount of momentum behind you. Only be risking 2 ticks. And there it is. I think I would need to see something unusual here to justify taking that one though. So I didn't click in. But 0.75 was the price I was looking at. Could at 0.75, then we would want to get out at 0.9 or 10. I should pull up the squawk, huh? Oh, Donald Trump is tweeting. Oh, I didn't catch that Trump has been tweeting. China, the European Union, and others have been manipulating their currencies and interest rates lower while the US is raising rates while the dollar gets stronger and stronger each passing day, taking away our big competitive edge as usual. Not a level playing field. I find the trade war thing and his comments on it really interesting because he clearly understands what he's talking about to some extent. He knows that he doesn't have as much leverage because the yield keeps going up. Like he has all the room that he needs to hurt the economy a little bit more with tariffs if rates stay low, but if they keep raising rates, then you lose all your leverage.
Flying right over my head, man. I have no idea what any of that stuff means.
Okay, let me back up. So
I mean, it's good for you. It's good you understand that, but I'm just like, that's way out of my time for stuff.
So if the E-mini is going to go down, right, then treasuries are going to go up, generally speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what if they don't do that? What if the E-mini goes down and treasuries go down too, right? That's really bad. Because that means you're getting a weakening economy but you're not getting the reduction in rates to balance it back out and free up money, essentially.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So what he's saying is, um, I want to continue this trade war stuff, and I know that that's going to hurt the economy. And the stronger the economy is, the more leverage he has in negotiating, because everybody will want to trade with the United States. Well, if rates continue to go higher, or rather, treasuries continue to go down, then that means that he can't raise the tariffs as much without causing more harm. Like if treasuries were like flying high after him saying all this stuff, and I kind of thought maybe they were going to, I think he would be happy about it. But instead, we're still in this stupid range that we've been in for 3 weeks, and I'm getting tired of.
Got a quick jigsaw question. So,
Sure.
I want to trade two contracts. I want to put a strategy in, so if I places two take profits, how do I like I know how to put the two. Let me figure it out first before I decide to ask a question.
So when you pull up the strategy manager and you have the strategy selected in the strategy IG, that at the bottom of that window there's a little plus button.
Yeah, but I see stop ticks, stop type, and then I see target tick. Like uh I
Right.
want to have like two take profits the same. So do I set the quantity
Yeah, exactly.
number?
So you would
Like
have two rows, one that the stop ticks on both of them will be the same, but the target ticks on them will be different.
Thank you.
Yep. No problem. Well, there's the 09, so I guess that trade at 07.5 would have worked. Well, I guess you'd have to get a fill at 09 first.
Yeah, the 30 years kind of thought it was between 02 and 05. Year we
Okay, now you definitely would have been filled. See on that one, because there's always a possibility of bouncing off the VWAP. Your best target is the 3. Maybe you can get the 10 or 10 half as well, but I do feel a little bit more comfortable that we're moving up here.
Are we though? I'm kind of we've moved up a lot. The 30-year hasn't like it's running trouble. We're trying to say that it takes off, right? That's how trading works.
Right, well,
Yeah, and there's been no buys at. I'm just gonna start talking like in opposites if that's what I gotta do.
only 39 though.
Yeah, not much. But I give it a bit more time. Not much buying on the well. It's thin, but there's no buy.
It was a pretty good move up. I don't know. I think they might take 10 half. I can't be sure here. I don't think that the risk here is low enough to be taking anything, like to be shorting it. So the thing going through my head is, China might come out and do something crazy here, or try and do what they've done in the past by like putting out headlines just before the e-mini opens or something like that. And if that happens, they're almost guaranteed that they're going to push treasuries up, and that's why I'd be more comfortable with them giving us longs instead of shorts. Hence why when we were at 0.75 I was considering it, and I just didn't see anything unusual or imbalanced enough to decide to take it. And now that we're basically at the same place on the other side, I'm like, no, I don't want to take that one. Because I don't want to get short and have something that maybe is probably actually going to work out if it's just traders involved, but then China comes in and screws it up. China. We're getting a pretty strong move in the JPY.
How many things are you watching?
So I've got 6 charts. I got one, yeah. I have this one window that I watch the 6J on. I can switch between a couple of things. I got the 6J, the 6E, FGBL, and gold. Yeah, you do. I do think it helps to have a couple of correlations, but you don't need to have like everything upright. It's just like the major things that are going to affect treasuries are going to be other treasuries, the equity market, and the currency market. So you just have that 6J up there to get an idea of what is happening to the dollar.
From Twitter as well.
Oh yeah, I have that over here. I only kind of look at that if I see like a spike, but
Silliness. They break that range 30 or then
The United States should not be penalized because we are doing so well. Tightening now hurts all that we have done. The U.S. should be allowed to recapture what was lost due to illegal currency manipulation and bad trade deals. Debt coming due, and we are raising rates, really. Yeah. Well, and then the yield curve could invert. That's what I'm worried about. ECB declines to comment on Trump tweet on currency manipulation.
Downtick on the 30-year. I guess we're thinking about different things. I'm trying to short here, you're trying to long, maybe. Just interesting.
Oh, I'm just staying out, I think.
Yeah. I'm eyeing for one. Nothing that's
If they give me a 2-tick risk trade again like at 0.75, then I might look for something through the rest of this range. I'm going to be no. If they break out through that range and then come back within 2 ticks of that VWAP, then maybe I would consider it.
it seems pretty quiet on the news front. There was news earlier. Clock. So news attack. Treasuries at the bottom of its range.
Yeah, the spreads are really interesting today too, because the whole curve is steepening just a little bit, but the whole curve. So you get this strange thing where the bonds, the trend is more largely down, but when you look at the 5-year, there's an argument to be made that they're trending up.
follow up.
Farmers have been on a downward trend for 15 years. The price of soybeans has fallen 50% since 5 years before the election. A big reason is bad trade deals with other countries. They put on massive tariffs and barriers. Canada charges 275% on dairy. Farmers will win. The latest Trump tweet just a few seconds ago. Here they're gonna give it again. Let's see. Well, I don't like the way the 30 year is going. I'm not sure I want to stand in front of that.
Ready for the 10-year to follow through, but it's not going. Oh, I missed it. I saw it too.
Can't take this. Not gonna buy into 07.5 there like that. There's way too much size above us in the There's way too much size above us in the 30 year to be taking along here, I think. So when they pushed it down there, all of those offers thickened up. There's like 4 prices there that are over 900. They are pushing it. This was 3 and 3. They've hit 25. There's still absorption there. I love it. The ECB makes a comment, or they're asked about Donald Trump saying there's currency manipulation, and they say no comment. So now everybody is saying, "Oh, that's because you're guilty as charged."
I'm going short here at 7.5. Why? Because right after.
I don't like the risk reward here. So on the buy side, you still got that 2 to 3 tick here, but then you got all this stuff in the 30 year. So then you say, okay, we can go short. But what do we got here? 4 ticks on this side. 4 ticks on this side. So I don't like that one. Yeah.
Let's put another tick.
And
Yeah,
the buyers are still trying to hold it.
And iceberg on the. I can't think of these words. I feel so stupid.
You get used to it.
There's an iceberg on the ask 10-year. I was thinking like, okay, 30 years going down, the 10 years also being held down, so it's a relatively safe short. Thinking about shorting, so got a tick. Because then we got an iceberg. I got the wrong order. I'm still whatever. I got my tick. I don't want to get 1 ticks all the time, but better than scratching.
Right.
Failing. I really feel like we're gonna break this 07 sometime today. The top of the range from the overnight is 11.5, 12. Haven't really gone back up there the 10 years, so I feel like knock on the bottom and then break through it. Target is 5.5, and it's pretty much free. This is just my and I am a demo trader, so please don't blame me if you follow one of my advices and you lose money. Don't trust the demo guy.
There's some more big icebergs at 0.75 in the 10-year, but it's hard to read too much into any iceberg around this area, because if you're a long-term trader, 0.7 is in the middle of the range. It's not.
How far back are you looking though?
Oh, this has been the middle of the range for like 3 weeks, I think.
I mean, you're scalping, right, Seth?
Yeah. I'm trying to take 3 to 6 ticks. See, here's my my volume profile chart that I use. I think I was making one thing I was wrong about is that your risk on the downside here is actually 6.5. Because there's a big bump in the volume profile there from yesterday.
Years. Contracts bought versus doesn't. So you guys for being in the chat and not paying attention.
Okay, here's this big order in the 30-year.
Yeah, overnight low is 05 half on the 10-year. The big order's gone, right?
Yep, it pulled.
Five half. Chop. There's some chop now even.
Then we're just gonna wait. I don't want to stand in front of this train, but I really don't want to be short today. So if they're just going to have a trend day down, we might just not participate. There's too much upside risk. I could be totally wrong and nothing happens, but I feel like there's too much upside risk. Oh, there's G20 meetings this weekend. Oh, goody. We can get more news. What was the CPI in Canada? Oh, retail sales was good. Good morning, Izzy. Have you taken year one yet?
I have a hunch we're on the way back up here.
Waiting to see if the 30-year makes a 5-tick pullback or not. Still only 4.
Like I think this bottom held at this point. It takes that push up was quite aggressive compared to the not totally convinced. Of selling on the after I said that. 5 minutes.
Oh man, that's all they're gonna give. So until I get a 5-tick pullback in the ZB, I would consider us in a downtrend, and they gave 4. So they're at the 28, 27, 28 is like your ideal place to short if you really feel strongly in shorting. But you know, they went up there. They showed it for a little while, and now we've ticked down. So that they're at least not immediately gonna tick the 5.
On the volume traded at.
Yeah.
On the 30-year.
Right. Which is not necessarily, it could, I mean, it could mean it stops there, but it's also can't give it fuel to move lower.
When they go up or down, one of the two.
They need to tick 29 first before I even think about taking a long trade. Aggressive sellers seem a little less motivated, but they could be willing to snipe or bring bid up to 28 and then smash. Yeah, exactly. It's like they make it look like it's a really good long year, but really you have that kind of a move down. You have all of this size above you, and they can't get above 28. You know, that's not a long. They're just trying to sucker people into buying the low here so that they can push them lower. Downtrend is not over yet. Granted, they can always lose control of it and get a quick rush up to like evens in the bond, but I don't think your risk, we're looking for low risk. That's not this place. That's what I think. Not offering just yet, but if it pops up, I'd be surprised. Well, yeah, and we got the E-mini opening here, right? So let's wait and see what the E-mini does, and I'll let them react to that, and then see if they give us an opportunity. Okay. I think we would really need to see the E-mini just get killed here in order to really get a move up. If they move up, I mean, if the E-mini gets killed when we get a strong move up, it could be kind of ugly. There'd be a lot of whiplash, especially in the 5-year, because there's not really the same resistance above us in the 10-year as there is in the 30. You just look at these charts. Thick here, although it's come off a little bit. But nothing here. Why am I not using my tools? See this right here? There's all this size above us in the 30-year. But where is it in the 10-year? Is there in the 5-year? Not there in the 10-year.
A few sellers lost.
You get this price right here. I think they can go down for another leg. And as I said before, I don't really want to be involved if we're moving down, because there's too much news risk. Could be missing a great trade, but that's okay. I mean, there's this pretty big order there at 03. Okay, so there's lower. Yup.
The low. So this breaks is probably going to be.
Yeah, they've extended. They've already, yeah, they ticked out the 05. So, oh no, wait, they didn't tick it actually.
Nothing traded on.
They went offer, but it didn't trade.
So that breaks. That's a. I think. Of course, you know what happens, and there's not one.
Well, my chart shows that it was 07 was the overnight low in the 10-year. But this is just like I said, you'll get this thing where you'll get a 4-tick pullback in ZB, and that's the pullback, and you can go short there if it if everything else lines up. If it ticks 5, then the downtrend might possibly be over, and then maybe you come back down and you might get a higher low. But otherwise, there's too much of a chance that it's going to go lower. Of course, they did go lower, and now you've got the other issue you've got now is that the E-mini is not decided what it's going to do yet, so we can get a big move either way. But now I think I could put my risk at 7. So I could maybe short sell 6 and go for 3. Well, no, actually, it would have to be 0.4 half and possibly 3. That time we actually pulled the 5-year down with us too, so.
At 05. 4 and 3.
That last move down was pretty ugly in the 10-year, wasn't it? The cumulative delta really went. FX macro saying I love the equity market when in doubt, just buy Netflix. So tech is pushing a little higher. Now they're getting to a spot where I might be able to justify taking a long. Then you see when they went through here, the size went up and now they're following it up. And on the distance, the 10-year did touch the third standard deviation away.
Or I reduced my size one contract, trying to get the
When they reach a third standard deviation from the VWAP, you start to get a high probability of a reversal. So the 30-year already touched it and kind of slid down along it, and now the 10-year just barely kissed it there with the trades at 0.45. Let's see if the 5-year does something here. 5-year still hasn't broken its low.
Okay, scratch that. I wanted to see if it would go down a tick, but too long. Taking too long.
Come on. I can risk 5.5 if I need to. They still get that 7 is the target. It's 3, 2. I think this is gonna fill though. Oh man, come on. I put an order in at 0.5, but it did not get filled.
Another alligator. Or whatever you call it. First time I've ever heard of that, by the way. Super interesting.
Yeah, it's a super tedious way to trade if you really want to do it a lot, though.
Hey, if you get ticks, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty good trade if you're willing to put in the patience for it. But I'm just lucky that or I guess unlucky that I'm not getting filled at these prices, right? Because a lot of the time you're gonna get filled through there. Normally, the way that you're gonna do the alligator is like, you know that it's about to tick up, and you put your limit order in as it leaves.
Yeah. It's so hard to do though, because I feel like every time these, the what do you call it? The resting orders always get taken out by like big chunks. There's never just like, a 5 lot that comes out. It's always
Yep.
300 or 500.
That's why when we tick up, you always see the bids or offers stack up behind it. We ticked up and it went from basically 1600 to 46, and now if we tick back down, some of that might pull because those might have just been robots trying to get the good place in line. Yeah, so the way that their DOM works is it auto stacks and auto pulls. So if it leaves the price, then they put the orders in there, so that they have the position in the queue. And then if they actually do end up wanting to buy there, they say, okay, actually buy it. And otherwise, it will pull if it's about to get executed. Hence also why if you get like 2 ticks in any one direction in the 10-year, it tends to cause a lot of chaos. Because that's all of the institutional traders getting fills that they didn't want. Well, I mean, there's still a chance that I get filled here. I did say that I could risk 05 half, but it's like I don't want to just move it up and then lose my spot in line and not only that, but you get the oh, by the way, we did get 5 ticks there in the 30-year. So the downtrend may possibly be over.
Remember what we talked about yesterday about hedge bias? I haven't taken a single long today. Feeling good about it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good move down there, and especially in the 30 years, it's kind of crazy. Ed's Bullard says he doubts Trump's comments will have an effect on the Fed. Well, of course not. So it's going to be kind of funny because, of course, a lot of people are going to freak out that he's making comments about the Fed, and the president doesn't usually do that. But, you know, if more people in the country are talking about interest rates, I think that's a good thing. Now, there's your uptick. So if I had clicked just a split second earlier, but I'm gonna leave it in there because we could still come down and kiss it. So I suspect the 5-year has a shit ton of puke fuel for a move down. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to go through my head and, you know, at all the different possibilities to explain what the yield curve is doing today. It's like the 5-year has been buying the whole time. The whole time. Like, if it moves down, yeah, I don't know if it's actually gonna. But look at the cumulative delta in the 5-year. It's up the whole way. Down in the ZB, and especially on that last move, it was down in the 10-year. But it's up in the 5. So the 5-year is clear. There must be some sort of short-term risk that is making people want to buy the 5-year. Yep. If it jerks down, then all those guys in the 5-year are screwed. Like you saw it when this happened right here. This little bubble. 65. Somebody went short, and all these guys had to get out. But it hasn't broken the low. If it breaks the low of the day, then it's like, oh my gosh, freak out, panic, everything. I think I made a mistake here because I maybe should have been waiting with the limit order at 0.55 instead of hoping that this thing gets filled. Okay. Please, please. Yeah, like Uzi said earlier, though, if I get filled, all of a sudden I'm not going to want it anymore. I'm going to get filled. Yep, there's my fill. Okay, so I can get 4. You've never tried it? It's tedious. So the place that I learned about it is that in the jigsaw trading, like their videos that they have on their YouTube channel, and he talks about it pretty early on in their education videos when he talks about strategies. But yes, you basically you have to get a good position in the queue, and then if it comes back to you and you know that it's going to go through you, you just take the 1 tick. So basically you're putting your exit in first. Makes sense, right? So here's another way of thinking about it that I think is nice. Is oh, this is gonna push through. I don't like it all of a sudden. Well, I was only gonna risk 2 on it. I don't know if they had bought into 055. But the thing that concerns me right now is that the 5-year is pushing now, and the 30 could fall a little bit, and that could pull us down. And we did just tick a low. Like, there's my risk. It's holding. They're not really trading it. If we tick up, then I think it could be good. But this might just not work, and I'm risking 2 to 3. I still think it was a worthwhile trade. So I'm okay with my entry, yeah. But now we're worrying about the management of it, and on the management of it, I'm a little concerned. I mean, I need to see more trade at 04 to really freak out, but Yeah. We've sold into 055 and gotten easy to get 055. Oh yeah. I could have done the alligator there, yes. I suppose if it happens to me again, I will just do it again. But I really wanted to be long at 05 because I really didn't think that that was going to fill. And you don't want to sell this one and then that one not get filled. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, it is. If you're going to be doing it a lot, then yeah, it's tedious. I think it's useful as a thing that's like, if it just happens to happen to you, then you can do it. But to like make your trading career out of it, it takes a certain type of person to do that, and I don't think I'm that person. But no, I was gonna say before it ticked down against this. Yeah, I need to stay focused here. The hard part is the exit. Really, it's like you want to enter in at the place where it's hard to enter. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, where you just barely get filled. The place where you just barely get filled, that's the place where the risk is the lowest for you, right? I wasn't sure it was going to get filled, and I'm only risking 2 ticks. And the further out we are here, the less sell volume you're going to get, the less opportunity you're going to get to get filled, right? On the other side, that's why it's kind of good to, if we're just looking at a dome profile, to get in on the edge and then get out in the middle instead of trying to get out on the other side, because if you get out on the other side, maybe you don't get the fill, right? So it's kind of all about improving your chances of getting the fill. So if you're able to say, oh, I have a very, very high probability of getting filled here, well, then you can just mark it into it. One tick easy. And that reduces your overall risk. So even though it's not necessarily a trade that I would like build a career on, I think it's one that's useful to know about, because it gives you, it kind of teaches you the correct way of looking at things, which is, how do I reduce my risk? Fill risk is a risk. Having it go through you is a risk. Okay, well, for now, the 5-year is building some volume here and looking like they might hold it. The 30-year is looking like they might be making a higher low, because they did touch 22, but now they've come off it. There's a big order behind it. There's an iceberg at 23. There's an iceberg in the 10-year. So I maybe got into that trade a little early because I really didn't think that 05 was gonna tick, but at the moment it looks really good. Okay, so that tick up was maybe a little faster than I expected. Let's see what happens. Yeah, they didn't hold that bid there. Getting a little fidgety.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I posted my charts in the wrong place. I'm not gonna bother cleaning it up.
And then it popped up like that, and now I need to reevaluate everything.
Adverse selection.
I feel like we're gonna go to that 03. Like, I feel like people are just looking at that and they're like gonna go down there and test it.
But yeah.
It's right now.
See, I was happy when we ticked up, but then when it ticked down through 05, I was like, okay, but now that it's ticked through 045, I think that this is no longer looking good.
Bonds with 30 years, quite a bit. Does it normally move more than the 10-year?
Which one?
The 30-year bond.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe I should be trading that, but
Well,
that $31 tick size.
yeah, exactly. I can say a lot of stuff about this because we've done a lot of investigation on it. The 30-year seems to react a lot better to technical levels and chart kind of pattern type stuff. So like if you're doing an automated strategy in NinjaTrader 8, you'll probably get a better win rate on the 30-year than the 10-year I have found in all of my back testing. Not that I've ever found a strategy that was like profitable enough to take live, but that's been my general conclusion. But it does not react as well to the order flow. So you can see in the 10-year, you can go, oh look, here's a place maybe I can get filled at that seems like it's on the edge, and you can get filled and never have it go against you, right? In the 30-year, they just don't care. They'll just be like, we're just going to move it 4 ticks against you just for fun. So,
yeah. I guess kind of like in the middle between the ES and 10-year.
I think Maltz is saying that adverse selection is that method of getting filled, and that might be the technical term for it, and I heard that before and I forgot, but yeah.
They're always getting pretty big though. I really think we're gonna go down and test it.
Yeah, it's starting to get not a ton hitting into 04 yet, but
The 10-year's gonna get.
my bird's upset. Maybe if I start screaming, okay, I'm glad I got out of that with just a 1 tick loss. I think I let my focus off a little bit there because I feel like I should have gotten out of that at break even. I wish I had gotten out of that trade at break even, but I only lost 1, and I think it was a pretty good trade.
What happens sometimes? You do everything right and then it does the opposite.
Yeah, well, when I took it, I mean, we did know that there was that big order at '03, and that there was a possibility that they were gonna say, nope, we still want it, but
Long or short?
I went long at 5. So we were talking about the alligator because I was 700 in Q at 5. And then it came back to it and it filled me, but I really wanted the long. I really wanted there to be a higher low. But I could have taken the alligator and I should have. But then, you know, it totally went, yeah. Oh, right.
All these colors and stuff. Oh.
So it sort of means you will always be filled on losing trades and not always filled on winning trades. Exactly.
I'm gonna try short of 5. No one wants to buy it. 5.
Looks like John still thinks that they're gonna take 19.
But yeah, I'm ready to cut this off real fast.
Trump relentless in protecting America from Russian aggression, says Pompeo. I feel a rant coming on, but then I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, but if they take that 19 in ZB and we get some sort of like stop run here in the 5-year, we would want to fade the aftermath of that, so we need to pay attention. But it kind of bothers me. So I'm gonna try and stay focused here and I'm gonna try and rant. It really bothers me how focused the media seems to be on things that don't fucking matter. Okay, there's a good takedown. They're gonna go for that 03. Okay, so like, let's just think about this Russia thing, okay? Donald Trump said, you know, the CIA guys say that Russia did it. Putin says they didn't do it. And then at the conference he said, I don't see any reason why it would be. Okay. Now he claims
We'll find out.
He claims that he meant to say, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So let's just go back in history and change it. And he said, actually, what he meant to say, or what he claims he meant to say. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So if he had actually said that, would there have been a problem? Would there have been a controversy? Well, I suppose they would probably come up with some reason to be mad about it, but it probably wouldn't have blown up as big as it was, right? So if he just changes one word, and that changes the whole situation, what does that tell you? They only care about something that he said. But how does that thing that he said affect you as an American? Like, is that going to change the economy? Is it really going to change foreign policy that much? I don't know. So, I mean, he's still going to meet with Putin. another time and try and work something out, and maybe he works something out. I hope that they do fix this Syria mess, right? So it doesn't really matter. Like it's something he said. It's not something that he did, right? It's not like a policy that's going to affect America for 30 years or something like that, right? Meanwhile, here we have all of these tariffs, and there was a little bit of a panic over tariffs, but not nearly as much as that. And he's talking about Federal Reserve policy.
All my trades have been.
I was scared. He's talking about Federal Reserve policy. Okay, like that's important. Okay, if the yield curve inverts and it causes a recession, that's something that changes all history, right? I mean, that's going to affect us certainly for the next 10 years. This is something that matters. Does the media talk about the yield curve? Do they explain to people what's going on and what the possibilities are and what the advantages and disadvantages of raising are right now? They don't talk about that. They're focused on shit that doesn't matter and all of the things that are important and everybody's clueless about. That's my rant. Still beats trading currencies. Currencies ignore everything. They just do whatever the hell they want. It's all about overcompensating for the piss poor 99% chance of Clinton winning that the media made in 16. Right. Well, I mean, so here's my other side of this. Is like they say that Donald Trump is, what he did was traitorous. Okay. Well, if you say something like, I really like Putin and I don't think that I think he's telling the truth, you'd be wrong, but that's your free speech. Like, that's not, you know, the law on treason is worded in that way so that, like, if you go and you make propaganda for the opposing state, then they can, you know, then you can be tried for treason. But if somebody said that it wasn't Donald Trump and then they tried to take them for court for it, they would not get a conviction. Okay, they just wouldn't. It's free speech, right? So why do they care? They care because
I'm kind of interested. I'm wondering about this. So, like, when you have
hold
like
on,
2 icebergs, right, on the bid and the offer,
right?
do you just like put in 2 limit orders on both of those and just like scalp the tick while those guys battle it out? Like, is that a thing that people do? They're always refreshing their orders, or it's like they're
Yeah.
staggered, right? So you'll get killed when they're like halfway through with theirs.
So you can do that. The risk in that trade is which side gets filled first, right? So maybe
you're matter, right? Because if you buy first, you'll sell later. If you sell first, you'll buy later at a lower price. Right?
Well, not so. Let's just say they were getting it here between 04 and 04.5. Okay. Yeah. What happens if the 04 gets filled, and then it ticks through it, and then they tick through 03, and then there's a stop run to 02, and right, you're screwed. So you kind of have this situation where you have to know that you're actually going to get filled on both sides. Now I have found one particular situation where, and it's kind of rare for everything to line up, but I have found one situation where that can happen. And that is, if you're in the right spot on the profile. So you don't want to do this like on the edge or a place where, you know, like you don't want to do it at a profile step or anything like that. Okay. Profile step or on the end. And you want to do it in a place where there is at least some trend going with you, because you want to get filled on the side that's that's going to be most consistent with the trend rate. So if we're moving down, you want to get your sell order filled first and then get your buy order filled, right? So you kind of have all of those, you have to have a bias on the trend and you have to know that it's equal. And then if you see an equal bid and offer, so like it'll be like 400 by 400 in ZB or like 3000 by 3000 in ZN, then there's a really good chance that you're going to get filled on both sides. So that's how you do it. But you've got to have something that tells you that you're actually going to get filled on both sides. I guess the other one would be.
I managed to. I mean, I was looking for more on the down. That's a contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because when you see size there, right? It's like think about it in terms of what is maximum risk and minimum risk. Okay, so minimum risk is generally going to be the places where you are least likely to get filled. So if you have a place where you're really likely to get filled, which is to say there's an iceberg and like 10,000 contracts went through it, okay, and you're already in a good trade, that means that's a good place to take it off. You just take it off because the probability that it ticks the 03 half is significantly less than the probability that it ticks the 04. Anyways, so what was I gonna say? So what he said was dumb, obviously, but they couldn't consider it treason. So why do they really care? They really care because it could potentially hurt Donald Trump in the upcoming election. So in my mind, the people that are really treasonous, in my mind, are people that are willing to undermine their own leaders and our own foreign policy on the offside chance that it might help them win the election. That really pisses me off. It's like, what did you really want Donald Trump to say? Did you really want him to turn to Putin and get in his face and be like, stop interfering in US elections and make a big scene about it? Like, is that really going to help American foreign relations? Is it really worth it? No. He wants to fix the situation. I think he's mostly concerned about what's going on in Syria. He wants to fix the situation, and he's doing what he thinks is going to help that foreign diplomacy. And really, pissing Putin off doesn't help. It doesn't. It might make you feel good. It might make Democrats shut up, but it doesn't really help. And so it just makes me mad because I feel like you got these people that don't care about that. They're not thinking that long term. They're not thinking, well, how does this actually affect U.S. foreign policy for the next 10 years? Or like this Russia thing. Like, if Russia wants to undermine confidence in U.S. elections, then you're going to do whatever you can to make Democrats talk about it, because the more that Democrats talk about it, the less confidence people are going to have in the integrity of U.S. elections, right? And they don't think about that. They don't think, well, in 10 years, is this going to actually make democracy stronger or not? And they're doing it because they think they're going to win something. It's not okay. Yeah, I understand. Because I feel like way back in the day, when it was like the Bush years, I think that I kind of jumped on some bandwagons where we were short-sighted.
Let's get a drink and we're up like 4-6.
Yeah, well, the 5-year never fell out there. So I technically could have stayed in my long at 05, and it wouldn't have gone more than the 3. But if I was going to get the 3, then I think that I would have to get 08, which I'm not so sure that that one's going to happen. So what were they saying here?
Sounds pretty. Everyone tech department.
Yeah. Yeah, when I worked for the bank, that's most of what we did was splitting orders. I've talked so much that my mouth is really dry and I'm out of water, so I'm gonna go and refill my water. And I don't want to take a trade at 0.55, so if we take another trade, it's gonna have to be like 0.45. So. I'm interested to see what John says here, because one of the things he always jokes about is that when he has a big target to the downside, they always come a tick or two short of it. So that's why I'm wondering if he considers that 2 ticks short of it done, or if he thinks that because it's unfinished that it's going to go down again. everything got boring really quick. Exactly. Being a Russian spy is treason. Saying I believe Putin isn't treason. Yeah, it's hard because here's the thing with politics is, everybody thinks when they look at it, hey, this is just logic. We have laws. You need a border to have a country. We should follow the law, etc., etc., etc. Right? The reality is that we're in a pretty complicated situation where the immigration laws are just completely broken, and it seems like it's almost impossible to change it. And even if we did change it, it probably wouldn't be perfect. It's not like it's a black and white. And but the point that I'm getting at is people don't vote on logic. They just don't. They might have logic that informs their decisions, but in the end, they only act if that triggers some sort of emotion in them that causes them to act. Right? People vote on emotion. Almost always, and so you're always going to kind of get these situations where, the group of people in the country are on tilt, essentially, and that's the Democrat Party right now, I think.
Interesting to see break through it on the upside.
And then tick 06 again. Yeah. I saw Keith type in. I wonder what Keith was thinking too, because I'm not so sure here. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyways, so where was my point there? I meant the market got boring, not the topic rushing down. Everything is ha 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 and then dead. Yep, exactly. Well, okay, where we're at. So we had a pretty good move yesterday, and we're pretty close to 50%. So, I mean, I'm just eyeballing it there, but we could kind of stop and maybe even reverse and pivot, but there's so many things going on, and I'm not sure I could take it. Anyways, so I was saying that people vote on emotion, right? So the point of that was to take it back to markets. This is like one of the things that Future Trader 71 talks a lot about is the monkey inside of you, right? Like he says, once you put a trade on, the monkey is incapable of making the decisions logically. And so if you don't already have your plan in ahead of time, you're not going to react and manage your trade correctly. Well, he's admitting there that once you take the trade, that your decisions are going to be impacted by emotion, and they're going to be impacted by the emotion of you having put money on the line. But I think that there's a key step in there that he glosses over, and that is that you're acting on emotion when you take the trade too. As much as you would like to think that you don't, as much as you would like to say that it's all logic and it's based on my plan, yes, you might have logic and plan going in back there and driving things, but in the end, that logic and planning has to trigger an emotional reaction for you to click that mouse. So you can't eliminate it. And so for voters, to say that, oh, this is just logical, is silly. They're all working on emotion. And there's no way, in trading, when you're on full tilt, you hit your daily stop loss and you can stop, or your broker cuts you out, or if you're on stage 5, maybe Futures Trader 71 comes in and says, hey, you're not trading so well today, you should stop. Or if I'm doing it, maybe the guys in the channel say, hey, you look like you're doing really shitty today, you should just stop. But in politics, there's nothing to stop you when you're on full tilt. And I think there are some people in politics right now that are on full tilt. I remember the first time I made a real trade in ZB, my heart pounded so hard. 31.25 a tick is a lot, and I came from the currency world where prices slide around like water. Interesting. Yeah, the funny thing when I was trading live, I remember the first one being a little nerve-wracking, but it was not like a big deal. It was just kind of a small trade, and took it, and then after that I was okay, and I really didn't feel like I was trading all that differently from when I was on sim. I was so freaked out that this thing would happen in Treasuries. Oh, yeah. So it really didn't bother me. And so then about a weekend there was the FOMC, and I traded off of I think it was FOMC, maybe it was something else. It was a big number. It was FOMC or ADP or inflation. And and I took a really, really risky trade and made like 16 ticks off of it, and it didn't bother me at all. It's just like, and I think that's the thing that's weird about me, is my emotional reactions to things aren't the same as other people's. I'm not saying that I'm like a psychopath or anything like that, but some things that would normally trigger a lot of people to really excite that part of their brain, it doesn't really affect me. And whereas there are other things that most people wouldn't think it's a big deal, and I like really freak out. And so, it's an ADHD thing. But when I think I'm right about, like, that's something that triggers me, And so if I take a trade, if I sit down and I say, okay, I want to buy at 0.45, I'm wrong at 0.35, I want 07, there is nothing you can do to dissuade me from that. So that's good from the standpoint of, keeping to your trade, but it's bad from the standpoint of managing the trade. The trade goes against me, and I don't buy into it until I get hit. You come from a finance back? Yeah, well, I'm a tech guy, but I worked for a bank. I've always been into finance, but I didn't realize that I liked finance until I was basically about to graduate. I could go back, I would have gone to business school and tried to go directly into trading that way. But
We're just staring at each other.
yeah, well, in the 5 year is pulled back and hasn't really looked down. Now they could tick down and then maybe they'll do it, or maybe the E-mini does something here. But I'm still kind of waiting.
Yeah, the 5 year that 144.20 is the top from yesterday.
Wow, 15 years in retail.
Probably like update my notes, but it is kind of a significant 44 or on the.
It's not going to take much. That's interesting. So Uzi has been trading full time for 6 years.
Refreshing. Yes, they are now.
And you don't have any other income, or is it just you have a part-time job? I built the account. I still trade off inventory bonuses, Christmas bonuses, and tax refunds. That's the way that I'm doing it. The money that I lost earlier this year was from a bonus. Okay, so 19 went bid for a moment. Went bid for a moment, but I didn't trade in. There was an iceberg at 20. So they're gonna try and hold it, but there's this 5 year. If the 5 year dumps. Oh, my wife runs a sizable cleaning company. There you go. I gotcha. So yeah, I would really like to. I feel like that for me.
Kind of sitting here.
Grant, my wife, she's a flight attendant, so I mean she does work, but she doesn't make a ton. But maybe if my wife made is, a lot more, then maybe I could consider that. But otherwise, I feel like that for me to really go full time, that I would at least need to own my house free and clear. So that's kind of the long-term plan, is if I can get myself to profitable, and hopefully I make this Bitcoin thing continues to work out. By the way, where are we at on Bitcoin?
144.
He's looking for a short. Hopefully the Bitcoin thing works out for me, because the indicator has been working really, really well, and that's my main thing. That I could use that to take a big chunk out of the house at least. And then maybe 10 years down the line, when I'm in my 40s, I'll own my house free and clear and I could trade full time. It's probably the way that I'd have to do it. Either that, or this YouTube channel just becomes massively popular and you all start watching, 10,000 people every day, and that would be another way, but I doubt that's ever going to happen because I'm not that interesting. Although I do appreciate the people that tune in every day. Always got a good dozen people or so watching. Boom, boom. Do you have some things that maybe you should do this weekend for the YouTube? I did record getting started in futures, but my birds were so loud, and so I let them sit on me while I did it. And I think they're distracting. I don't know. Maybe it would be fun. Maybe I'll upload it anyways. But I'm thinking about redoing it because of the freaking birds. Like, I'll just wait till late at night when they're asleep and do it. It's not you, it's trading. No one's into it in my life. Bro, I can't talk about my day at work to anyone. My wife humors me, but literally everyone I know has no interest in it, right? I think you ever heard of Peter Lynch's cocktail indicator, right? So he manages a fund, and when things are going really well, when things are really bad and everybody's like, oh, you work for a hedge fund, oh, I don't want to talk to you, you guys are evil. Those are always the times to buy. And then when he goes to a cocktail party and like people are interested in talking to him and they want to give him their stock picks and tell them that he's wrong about certain stocks, that's when it's time to get out. and I think it really is a really good indicator, because the truth is regular people just don't care about it. They just don't care until it's, until it's already overbought. That's why in December, I tell you, I made that indicator, and I put it out. I made it like a month before the Bitcoin futures came on, and I started like streaming live when the Bitcoin futures came on. So like the beginning of December, right? And I remember at that time, that last big push, that I had friends on Facebook were talking about buying Bitcoin. And a lot of my Facebook friends are people that I added when I was doing DJ stuff, and I only added them so that I could spam them about my DJ gigs. So I had all these people that are basically ravers, and I love these people, but most of them are, like very, very blue collar type jobs. They're still working for like a call center is probably what they're doing, right? Most of them are working at a call center, don't really care about markets or finance. They just want to party, basically. And when I saw those people that they were buying Bitcoin, that was when I said, this indicator is 100% right. So there's no way that those people are buying in there and that this is going to go twice as much. I went out to fix a toilet seat for one of my wife's clients one day a few years ago. Big ass house, like totally made of money, right? This woman thought I was a total schmuck until I mentioned in passing that I traded futures. Suddenly she wanted to talk to me about investing, haha. Yeah, when the shoe shine boys are giving stock tips, it's time to sell. Right. I'm not seeing the people talking about stocks yet. And I'm concerned because millennials just don't want to trade stocks these days. But, so maybe we don't get that this time around. Because I'm a little concerned, but I kind of see where the market is at. And I've always been one of the guys that, like during the 2008 financial crisis is when I got interested in trading. And I remember when Obama became president and the market was just like, he would say something and the market would go down every freaking day.
Oh, the best use.
Every freaking day it goes down. The money. Anyways,
I'm on ZF right now.
Oh, okay. You try ZF.
Saw that breakdown, and I was follow up. I already took one contract off. A small.
Some crazy spreading going on here for sure.
I need to find out about that because it seems like the knob spread, right? Probably trying to understand.
Yeah. Well, so do you have a charting platform?
I can.
You know, so what I do is I just use free NinjaTrader 8 and I connect NinjaTrader 8 to the data, and then I use the bridge for Jigsaw. That's how I do it. And I posted a spread indicator on the Futures IO board, so you can look at it.
I'll probably check it out this week. Market's closed.
Oh.
Broken yet?
Anyways, so it would go down every day, and then the one day the Obama administration is like finally figured it out, and they're like, we're just not going to say anything today, and the market reversed. Was that the day he finally shut up? Was the day that the S&P 500 hit 666 and turned around? And I saw it, and I said, you know what? I think this is the bottom. Probably just beginner's luck, but I was really confident that that was the bottom. I don't know. They still have some targets below us, so I'm just gonna stay out. I'm gonna leave here in a few.
Yeah, this is definitely my.
I'm then gonna do my review here. Actually, gonna jump out of the chat. So,
okay.
See you next week.
Yep. Have a good one.
Anyways, I really thought that was the bottom, and it was probably just beginner's luck, but I was like, this is it, this is the bottom. And I always remember every step along the way, I was like, it's not done, it's not done, holy shit, there it's going, it's not done, it's not done. And it was like during the Euro crisis, I was like, eventually, like there's a lot of volatility here, this is probably a bottom, we're gonna keep going higher, the bull market is not over. Okay, so I only say that to establish I've been a person that's been bullish from the very, very beginning and have stayed bullish all the way through it. And now I look at where things are, and the spread in particular is starting to concern me. I don't see the euphoria in the market. I don't see everybody going out and buying everything. But oh geez, they just blew right through that one. Well, I'm glad I stayed long enough to see this, because this is interesting. This is going to go all the way back to 120 even now. Anyways, so we're not there. We're not there, but it's definitely getting there. I have a friend who was swearing by Bitcoin back when it was near 20K. I came across an article about people mortgaging their homes to buy Bitcoin, and I told him there were crashes coming. He thought I was crazy. Yeah. So I feel like this week I've had a change in the way that I view the markets. So my new thing is I'm trying to trade tops and bottoms. But I'm not trying to trade tops and bottoms in price. I'm trying to trade tops and bottoms in risk. So when everybody in the media is talking about Bitcoin, and it's already had a big run up, is that a top or a bottom in risk? And I'd say that's a top in risk. You don't want to buy that. You don't want to buy that. I don't think you want to sell it either, because it can just rip your face off. So we wait until it's low risk. Well, if the 5-year went. Okay, so let's talk about what we did. We had a long at 08 and we missed it, and then it came back, and so I didn't like it anymore, and so I took a alligator on that one. And then I had a long at 05, which was actually not a bad trade. It gave me 2 ticks, but just not really didn't really give us very much, and I was managing the trade and I saw that the bond could go lower, and so I got out of that one, and then I've just been sitting out. Now, should I have taken more shorts? Well, maybe I could have taken this short. Maybe I could have taken this short, but I said to myself I don't really want to sell into this because there was too much news risk. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to say that was probably, at least in this situation, that was the wrong call, but you know, I'm flat on the day, it's okay. So yeah. What else? I think we finished that conversation, didn't we? Yeah, the media hype with Bitcoin was one of the big reasons I never touched it. Yep. Well, I still think let's just run it and I'll show you guys what it says for y'alls that aren't subscribers on the Patreon. I'll give you a special look here. What does it say? It says 173. Holy shit. Wow. So where is it? Show you the picture. Some of the most overbought levels we've ever had. You see this? Here's the Mt. Gox crash. Here's the first pullback. Here's like the first bull trap, and here's the second bull trap. Okay, and these actually came up to be almost equal to each other. Yeah, and also look at the cells. There's a bottom, 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 bottom 3. Right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then what happens? The big one. So this is the worst place to buy, according to this. So don't buy Bitcoin. I think it's going to go to 2,000, but we'll see. Maybe the indicator will finally be proven wrong. It's going to have to happen at some point. It's inevitable that at some point it will be wrong. But until it is, I'm going to trade it for all it's worth. All right. Well, that was fun. It looks like it's still got more, so we'll see. I will see you guys next week, though.